Hello, happy Monday. Hope you're all doing well. Wanted to come in and talk about the True Self Summit today. And I'm going to have a special guest. My good friend Georgie is going to come on and join me. And we're going to talk all about what makes your true self and how do you cultivate that true self. Right, I think I see Georgie here with me, and so I'm going to bring her on soon. Um, Great, here we go. Let's see if she's in here with me. Here we go. Here we go. Hi,
Hi.
Georgie. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, my little camera holder thing has literally just gone completely kaput. So apologies to everyone watching if there's a little bit too much movement. I'm holding it.
Okay, no problem.
How are you,
Uh,
Katie?
I'm good. I'm good. I was having some technical difficulties, so I didn't exactly start at the top of the hour, but I think we're all good now. How are you doing, Georgie?
I'm good. It's a little chaotic. We've literally just moved house. So I'm
Oh, God.
currently, Katie, you should see, I'm in my kids' playroom.
Mhm.
I am surrounded by the chaos. My office is a work in progress, but we're getting there. And we're on the other side of a really big move, and I feel even amidst the madness, so brilliant.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. And I'm going to ask you what creates that brilliance. But before that, will you just introduce yourself and let everyone know, like, yeah, what is it that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Georgie Muir. I have a coaching company called Chasing Lobsters, which has a really long and historic story behind it, but a good one. Where essentially the whole premise of my work as a coach is that the world is your lobster, the world is your oyster, but my dad always said lobster, and you get to really create that for yourself. So what you want to see, what you want to feel, what you want to generate, professionally and personally, I tend to work with a lot of professional women, particularly those in leadership. You get to create the piece of that you want to be seeing and feeling. So for
Mhm.
me and my clients, it tends to be a search for real fulfillment and joy in the very lovely life that they're leading. So they can be very successful, they can be highly sort of achieving and doing all the things and ticking all the boxes on the life paper that apparently we all are meant to be taking, and they're just not feeling it. And so, really, my work is supporting them in finding their joy, finding themselves, really,
Mhm.
again, within all of that, so they can just love it.
I love that. And I love that your dad said the world is your lobster instead of the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
Now, in spite of the move, because moving is actually one of the most stressful things that we can do in life, right? Like when they name off the things that are stressful in life, they name off death and divorce, and then moving is
Yeah.
one of those things.
Yeah.
How are you keeping your sanity, and why did you say that it still feels great and you're still feeling brilliant during this time?
So I feel like we're a bit of a pro family at moving because we're a military family. So we move all the time and sort of every 18 months. My eldest son is 5 and this is his fifth home. So that kind of puts into context how frequently we do. So the moving piece for me, it is stressful. It does ask a lot. You find your rhythms, you find your systems, you lean on those and you let them support you as you let all the emotions that come up in that space to find some space. It may not be in the moment, but truly, you would have caught me at various points during this move on the floor crying or jumping with glee or raging against a pillow just to really honor the frustration or the sadness or the joy that was all mixed in with the inevitable process of moving. But for us, this time it's huge because we've actually moved into our own home. We decided to stop the military ping pong and we've landed in our own home. And I think the landed is really the word, Katie. I feel like I've really feel grounded since because it's mine and it's ours. And we are we're the ones who get to decide when we move next. We're the ones who get to paint the walls a different color to magnolia, and which is every military house is standard magnolia. It is all you'll get. So even though there is chaos around me, just centering myself in that.
Oops, your audio went out for a second there. Yes, there I can hear you.
Sorry, do you know what just happened? My time limit on social media just popped up on my phone. It was like, your time limit. So I have a horrible feeling it might happen again. So if it does, forgive me. But yeah, so really just creating this from choice, and an aligned choice, one that felt really right for us. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but it really made sense to us. And knowing that was coming from us, coming from the places within us that help us make aligned choices, which is, this is what we get to do as coaches. We have that awareness, we get to ask the questions, and basically showing up to that work in myself helped us get to an aligned place that is feeling as good as I hoped it would.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And this is one of the reasons I think like we wanted to put together a summit called the True Self Summit, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Why did you want to participate and co-host and be part of this summit?
Well, partly because I saw the lineup of incredible coaches, yourself amongst them, and I was like, yes, please, I will be in that bandwagon with those absolutely amazing coaches. I know the value that's going to be delivered. And similarly, I just think that sometimes finding your way there can be quite hard on your own. And you can sometimes read the books or you can hear the guidance, but if you're not experientially taken through it yourself, it can be really hard to find your way and your thing. And so I think to be able to offer that to audiences, to people that aren't necessarily in my circle, they're not in my world, but I get to sprinkle a little bit of my magic into them finding their way, I'm always a yes to that. Always. And to be able to do that with such a collective group of humans that the True Self Summit has collaborated together, it is that journey from start to finish that I think is going to be really streamlined into that true self direction. Not my true self, not your true self, but the audience's your true self.
Right.
And I'm just so excited for that. I wish I could have been in this when I was at maybe the beginning of my personal development journey.
Yes, me too. I know. It's so true. And what are you going to be talking about at the True Self Summit?
So I'm going to be talking about Inspirational You and how to reconnect with inspiration for yourself and for your life when maybe it's been lacking a little bit. So if you've been feeling a little bit blah or a little bit flat or just a little bit unenthused by you, by how you're living, by what you're doing, or by how life is looking, how can you reconnect with a source of inspiration that is available here and now, not once you've gone to the lovely beach, once you're, trip booked to Cabo, how can you reconnect to inspiration that is already here, it is already available to you? And that's really what I'm going to be coaching on and guiding people into, is finding that inspiration for themselves and in their life already available.
That's so powerful, because what I've noticed recently, especially, towards this end of the pandemic era, is that a lot of people have lost a little bit of inspiration, right? Maybe they were getting on a trajectory, a momentum right before the pandemic hit. And then all of a sudden during the pandemic, it was like, nothing is happening. And now it's like, okay, well, what do I do to kind of get out of that feeling of stuckness and nothing happening, right?
Yeah.
Like, have you noticed that a lot in your work?
Yes. And I think it took us all a little while to realize even that was happening, and that there were legacy effects from the social restrictions of the pandemic. And I think we've almost somehow forgotten to reclaim our choice and our empowerment to to go and create the life. It's almost like, oh, I'd forgotten that I could be sociable in the way I wanted to. I could forgotten that I can now move in my environment in a way that I'm allowed to, because for a long time we were not allowed to.
Yes.
You know? So I think we somehow need to reconnect with the freedom that's available to us by making sure that we have that sense of safety and that sense of autonomy and that sense of purpose and alignment with, inspirational you, which is the you-ness that is available in all of that.
Yeah, and then also what you're saying around social communication, I think that we've lost a lot of community and really creating that connectiveness. And I think that that's also part of this summit, is that we really, really want everyone to start to feel like we're a community and we can do this together and we're actually stronger together. Like, talk a little bit about community to you and what that means to you.
Well, I think we only have to look at how within the process of building this summit for everybody, as contributors, we have collectively come together with community at the heart and center. It's like we come together to create an experience for the individual where they come together, not just with themselves, but with everybody else as themselves. And when you start to connect with others, having reconnected and started to express as true you, suddenly you're like, oh, hang on a minute, here's a group of people who are seeing me for me, enjoying me as me. Maybe there's more freedom in me being me than I thought. Maybe there's more freedom for me in connecting with others as me than I've maybe felt safe to previously. And that's why the community piece, it can't be left out of these experiences. It has to be there. And so I think we've really, from the get-go, as collaborators, made sure that we're in community together. So we're then able to invite others into that community spirit too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you and I met through community,
Yeah.
right? And most of the coaches that are part of this True Self Summit, we all met through Elementum Coaching Institute. And, years now, it's been about 2 years, right? Since
Yeah.
we all went through the program together.
Yeah.
And we're still in community together and we're still working together. And it's so amazing for us to have these places to go and people to talk to whenever, whether to celebrate or to commiserate whatever we're going through.
Right.
Right.
The truth of that moment, to be in community as yourself in that moment, that is just so powerful. It's freeing, it's healing, it's lovely and nourishing.
Yes.
Like, I know, Katie, you've seen some of my crazy, you've seen some of my sadness, and to be seen in that and held in that and loved in that, there is truly nothing more powerful as humans, is there?
Absolutely.
It's like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, always.
Yes. Oh, and thank you. Yeah, you've seen me through all of the sadness and ups and downs of everything too, right? And not just in our businesses, but in our personal lives,
Yeah.
that I think that's so important, because when we're talking about our true selves, we're talking about everything and about the essence of who we are. And to be able to be seen and loved and to say, yes, I completely accept you as you are, as your true essence, is so powerful.
It's a gift, and I think that gift has to start from you to you. Yes. Because otherwise you're denying it. This is when I get so cheesy about my work, because I really, really believe that you are here to be you. You are the one person who gets to do this life as you and ever will get to do this life as you. And if you deny yourself that, you deny everybody else that, you deny the world that, and who knows what gifts are wrapped up in that truth? Who knows what return you're going to experience, let alone give to others? And I just think to be able to give that truth to others, you have to first be willing and able to give it to yourself. And It is a gift, but it's one that you can't always find with ease because of the limiting beliefs and the patterns of safety. And that's what's so beautifully in the summit broken down into bite-sized chunks. It's all those different little blockers to you finding your true self and being your true self, living and choosing as your true self. We're really paving them one by one little workshop into the next little workshop. And that's what I love about this summit. I'm like, oh, I want a bit of that. Oh, I want a bit of that. Yes.
Absolutely. Yep, me too. I'm like, I'm going to be there all 3 days listening to every single other coach's talks. And who do you think ultimately this is for? Like, who's the ideal person that should join this summit?
Anybody who is sat at a point where they're feeling that they've just lost their way a little bit, or perhaps never even found it. And they know that there is more of them and more for them than they're experiencing or expressing. This is just a really beautiful place to come. And I recently sent the invitation to True Self Summit to a friend of mine. She's grieving the loss of her mother, and she's also grieving a relationship that's just broken down. And it's almost that she didn't know who she was on the other side of those things. Who am I without my mom? Who am I without my partner? Who am I in this new way of life looking like this? You know, that's quite a drastic example, but any sort of shift where you're considering, I don't really know who I am or who I want to be or where I'm going right now, this is for you. This is just going to give you drip by drip of nourishment, something to chew on, something to really be sort of, I won't say like nourished is the word, nourished by, fed, watered, to be able to be like, yes, thank you, I needed that. That's me one step closer to finding me, to moving my life towards the one I want.
Yeah.
What about you?
That's so
you?
Yeah, I think that you've nailed it. And I also think that it's also the person who's seeking what's next for me, right, in my life as well. It's like, okay, you know, I'm at a point where I'm really discovering all of these things about myself, and how can I be even more of an authentic person to actually get myself into the place where purpose and joy are in alignment for me.
Yeah, and a next level, even in alignment and next level. It's kind of this, okay, I'm finding myself, I know where I'm going, I want more of it. That is absolutely going to be feeding that too. Yes, so true. Absolutely. Way to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you want to join us, and I think that you should go to either of our links in our bios. We have those links up for you to actually join us on the summit. And I would be, excited to see you all there, because there's some, besides Georgie and myself, there are 10 other incredible master coaches who are going to be, inspiring us and teaching us all kinds of things. And also, what is incredible about this summit is, and I've said this before, we're not really talking at you. We're going to help you to experience things in your body and to really start to embody this in your life. Yeah. So,
This is
any last words?
Learning. No, I think just you nailed it. This is not just to come and feel like you're a fly on the wall. This is to come and be in the room, doing the work, feeling that change or feeling that aha. It's very experiential. And I think that's different. We've all had those experiences where we've been talked at. This is not that. This is not that, which is what makes me so excited to be jumping into that sort of the observer and going in as the student and watching these master coaches really do their thing. I really can't wait.
Yeah. Me too.
Awesome.
All right. Well, join us. Go to the links in our bios. Sign up. It's free. There is a VIP option, but you can definitely come in as a free participant, because we want everyone to be part of this and to really discover this for yourself. So I will see you soon, Georgie.
Thanks, Katie. See you soon.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.